Welcome to the Skin Bliss podcast, where we break down skincare with science, not hype.
I want to start today with a visual that I think is going to haunt a lot of the people listening right now.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So picture your bathroom counter. The lighting is probably unforgiving, fluorescent, maybe a little too bright. And you're staring at your reflection. And right between you and the mirror is this crowd, a literal crowd of little glass bottles.
The graveyard of good intentions.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a shrine. You've got the half-used vitamin C serum that's turned completely orange. You've got the toner you bought because some teenager on social media said it changed her life.
Right.
You've got essences, ampoules, 3 different moisturizers. I mean, we are talking hundreds of dollars just sitting there.
And the tragic part really isn't even the money, it's the result.
Right. You look at your skin after all that investment, all that time, and it looks exactly the same as it did 6 months ago. And this is the nightmare scenario, it actually looks worse.
Yeah, that's when the panic sets in.
You're red, you're breaking out, you're sensitive. And your brain, because we are totally conditioned as consumers, immediately goes to, well, I must be doing something wrong. I need to buy one more thing to fix this.
It is, without a doubt, the most universal frustration in modern skincare. It's that feeling of failing a test that everyone else seems to be just acing effortlessly.
Completely.
But what if I told you that the problem isn't that you aren't doing enough? The science actually suggests the problem is that you are doing way, way too much.
Yeah, and that right there is the headline for today. We are unpacking a source called the Skin Reset, Mastering Minimalist Care. And honestly, reading through this deep dive materials was like, I don't know, taking a deep breath after holding it for a year.
It really is. It's a total paradigm shift.
It's a permission slip to just stop the madness.
We're talking about skincare burnout today, and that's a real physiological state for your skin, not just a mental one.
Yep.
The mission for this deep dive is to really strip away the marketing noise because, let's be honest, it is deafening out there, and look at a minimalist, strictly science-backed approach to resetting your skin barrier.
So if you're listening and you feel overwhelmed, or if your face literally hurts when you put lotion on it, stick around. We're going to cover why the industry is mathematically designed to confuse you.
Oh, it absolutely is.
We're going to walk through a very specific 8-week reset protocol that is shockingly simple. And we're going to debug the lifestyle factors that honestly matter more than any $200 cream.
It's time to stop guessing and start acting like a scientist with your own biology.
I love that. So let's start with the elephant in the room. Or, I guess, the elephant in the Sephora. Why is skincare so complicated right now? I feel like I need a PhD in chemistry just to wash my face without melting it off.
Well, if we look at the source material, the answer is pretty cynical but economically undeniable. The industry profits from complexity. It's called the revenue per routine model.
Break that down for us a bit.
It's just simple math. If a brand sells you a routine that works in 3 steps, cleanse, treat, protect. They have capped their revenue. They sell you 3 bottles and they're done.
Right.
But if they can convince you that your skin is failing because you missed the pre-serum and then the essence and then the barrier repair cream to fix the damage the first 2 cause.
Suddenly they've sold you 10 bottles.
Exactly. They've tripled their profit on the exact same face.
It's like that old saying in the tech world, create the problem, sell the solution.
Precisely. They create a specific anxiety like, oh no, my toner isn't absorbing fast enough. And then they sell you an essence to fix that non-existent problem. But here is the scientific reality, and this is really the core of the skin reset data. Your skin is not a sponge.
Okay, wait, say more about that.
It is a barrier. Its primary evolutionary function is to keep things out.
That's a massive shift in perspective, isn't it? Because we usually think we need to feed our skin, like it's hungry.
Right, but when you layer 10 different active products, you aren't feeding it. You are creating a chemical traffic jam. You're likely disrupting what's called the acid mantle.
The acid mantle. We hear that term thrown around a lot on social media, but what is it really?
Think of it as a very thin, slightly acidic film on the surface of your skin. It's your first line of defense against bacteria, viruses, and moisture loss. It's basically the security guard.
Okay.
Most complex 10-step routines inadvertently strip this mantle away entirely, or they completely mess up its pH balance.
And when the security guard goes on break?
Total chaos. The good bacteria die off, the bad bacteria flourish, and microscopic inflammation sets in, which you, looking in the mirror, interpret as, oh, I'm breaking out, I need to scrub harder.
So you buy a harsh exfoliant, stripping the barrier even more. It's a vicious cycle.
It really is. The source argues that 90% of the work, and let that number sink in for a second, 90% is done by just 4 functional categories.
Only 4. That's it.
4. A good cleanser that doesn't strip the skin. An active ingredient to target a specific concern. A moisturizer to seal it in. An SPF to protect it from DNA damage. That is literally it.
That is, honestly, it's kind of relieving, but also incredibly frustrating when I think about my bank account over the last 5 years. It's wild how we've been conditioned to think more is more.
It's the consumer fallacy. We think that if 1 pill cures a headache, 10 pills will make us superhuman.
When in reality, 10 pills will just shut down your liver.
Exactly. Skincare is the exact same way. Biology has a hard cap on how much it can process at any given time.
Now, speaking of processing things, we have to talk about the friend. You know exactly who I'm talking about. Every single person listening has this friend.
Oh, I know where you're going with this.
The friend who sleeps in her makeup, washes her face with hand soap, just like tap water, and has the skin of a poreless angel.
Yes. The I just drink water and vibe friend.
Yes, and it makes you want to scream, because here you are researching pH levels and spending half your paycheck, and she's doing absolutely nothing and winning. It just feels incredibly unfair.
It is unfair, completely. But the source material hits us with a really hard truth here, and we all need to accept it. You cannot outproduct your genetics.
Say that again for the people on the back.
You cannot outproduct your genetics. Genetics play a massive overriding role in pore-sized sebaceous gland activity, which basically means how much oil you naturally produce and your baseline tendency toward inflammation.
So when you look at that friend,
you aren't seeing the brilliant results of a non-routine. You're just seeing the results of winning the genetic lottery.
So trying to copy her routine or her lack of a routine is totally pointless because I'm not working with her DNA.
Exactly. It's like trying to train a pug to race a greyhound. You can have the healthiest, happiest pug in the entire world, but if you expect it to run 45 miles per hour, you're going to be really disappointed. The goal of the skin reset isn't to get someone else's skin. It's to optimize your skin, to reach your own specific biological baseline.
I really like that. That's actually a much healthier way to look at it mentally, too. It takes all the pressure off. It moves us from competition to actual care.
Correct. It's about homeostasis, finding that balance, not chasing some impossible perfection.
Okay, so let's get really practical here. How do we know if we are the problem? Because the source has this great self-audit section to identify if you are guilty of overtreating. I want to run through this checklist with you.
Let's do it.
Listeners, I want you to mentally check these off as we go. First one, are using 5 or more active ingredients.
And we really need to define active here because it's a buzzword. We mean ingredients that biologically change the skin structure, so acids like glycolic or salicylic, retinoids, vitamin C, benzoyl peroxide.
Stuff that actually does heavy lifting.
Right. If you have 5 of those in your rotation during a single week, that is a massive red flag. You are almost certainly existing in a state of chronic, low-grade inflammation.
Okay, check number 2. Do you change products every few weeks?
This is what I call shiny object syndrome. You try something for 2 weeks, you don't wake up looking like a supermodel, and so you swap it for the newest viral thing.
Which is terrible, right?
It's a disaster because your skin never has time to acclimatize. You are keeping your skin constantly in a state of stressful adjustment.
Number 3, does your routine take 15 minutes or more?
Yeah, unless that time frame includes a 10-minute meditation or brushing your teeth, that is just too long. If you are layering 5 serums, you are just diluting all of them. They aren't penetrating.
And this next one really hit home for me. Do you have no idea which product is actually doing what?
This is probably the most dangerous one on the list. It's the scientific blind spot. If you start using a toner, a serum, and a night cream all at once, and your skin magically gets better, you have absolutely no idea which one did the heavy lifting.
So you're stuck buying all 3 forever.
Exactly. Or worse, if you break out in terrible hives, you don't know which one is the culprit. So you might end up throwing away the perfectly good product and keeping the bad one.
Right. And the last sign on the audit. Is your skin more reactive now than when you first started getting into skincare? Like, does it sting when you just put on a basic, boring moisturizer?
That is the ultimate clinical sign of a totally compromised barrier. We call it transepidermal water loss, or TEWL. Your skin has lost its physical seal.
So the nerves are just out there.
The nerves are exposed. If water or a bland lotion stings your face, You have scrubbed away your primary defense system. You need a reset immediately.
Okay, I think a lot of us are probably nodding along right now, maybe with a bit of shame. But let's move past the shame. Let's actually fix it.
Yes, let's focus on the solution.
The source outlines a very specific reset protocol. And I love that this isn't just a list telling you to go buy this specific cream. It's a timeline. It's basically an elimination diet for your face.
It's the perfect analogy. We have to identify the triggers by removing all the background noise.
So walk us through it. Weeks 1 and 2. The source calls this the detox. What exactly are we doing here?
You are doing almost nothing. And I really want to warn everyone listening, this is going to be psychologically very hard for people who are used to doing a lot.
I can imagine.
For 2 full weeks, you strip everything back to just 3 basic items. A gentle cleanser, a basic no-frills moisturizer, and SPF.
Wait, no serums at all? No toners? No sheet masks?
None. 0 actives. No exfoliation, no harsh scrubbing.
Why? That feels like I'm just giving up. People are going to panic and think their acne is just going to explode overnight.
I know, but that fear is just the skincare addiction talking. You aren't giving up, you're healing. Think of your skin like a house that's just been through a Category 5 hurricane.
Okay.
You don't start hanging beautiful new paintings while the roof is still actively leaking. You have to fix the roof first. Weeks 1 and 2 are purely about letting the inflammation naturally subside and letting the barrier physically repair itself. You are stopping the assault?
Stopping the assault. I really like that framing. Okay, so we do that for 2 weeks. The skin calms down, the barrier heals a bit. Now we enter weeks 3 and 4. This is the reintroduction phase.
Right. Now that your baseline is totally calm, you add exactly 1 targeted active ingredient. And the source is very, very specific here with the options. You can add a retinoid or vitamin C, or an AHA.
But I notice you really emphasize the OR there.
I cannot stress the word OR enough. Do not add all 3. Do not add 2. Pick 1, based on whatever your primary concern is.
So if it's acne or anti-aging.
Maybe go with the retinoid. If it's strictly brightness, maybe the vitamin C, but just 1 single active.
Why just 1, though?
It's all about controlling your variables. It's the scientific method in action. If you introduce a retinoid in week 3, and by week 4 you see a ton of irritation, you know exactly what caused it.
Because it's the only new thing.
Exactly. You can adjust the frequency or buffer it. If you had introduced a retinoid and a vitamin C serum at the exact same time, you'd be flying blind again.
This goes right back to what we said earlier about knowing what works and having that blind spot.
Exactly. You are finally learning your own skin's specific language.
So that brings us to weeks 5 through 8, the evaluation phase.
This is the watch and wait phase. Or honestly, as I like to call it, the boring middle. You stick with that newly simplified routine cleanser, moisturizer, SPF, plus that 1 single active, and you just wait.
Why do we have to wait so long? Why 8 whole weeks? That feels like an eternity.
Because of the desquamation cycle, which is just the fancy term for the natural turnover of your skin cells. In a baby, skin turns over in about 14 days. In your 20s and 30s, it takes about 28 days. As we get older, it can push out to 40 or even 50 days.
So the skin you're actually treating today won't even be fully visible on the surface for a month or more.
Exactly. You are treating the future of your face. If you swap products every 2 weeks, you are literally quitting the race before you've even crossed the starting line. You have to give the new, healthier cells time to travel up to the surface.
There was a warning in the text that really scared me straight regarding this exact timeline. It said every time you change an ingredient, you reset the clock.
And it's completely true. Imagine you're baking a delicate souffle.
Okay.
If you open the oven door every 10 minutes to change the temperature, or you keep throwing in new spices halfway through, that souffle is going to collapse.
Yeah, it's ruined.
Your skin needs chemical stability to restructure itself. If you change the core routine, the skin has to start its entire biological adaptation process all over again from absolute 0.
Resetting the clock. That is such a good visualization. It really makes that urge to buy the new viral product seem a lot less appealing.
That's the ultimate goal, to get you to see the long game.
There's also a really important note in the source about the difference between a purge and a breakout during this phase.
Yeah.
I feel like this trips people up constantly.
Oh, it's a crucial distinction. If you introduce an active that specifically speeds up cell turnover, like a retinoid or an acid, it might bring all the underlying congestion to the surface all at once. That is a purge.
And how do we spot that?
It usually happens in areas where you normally break out anyway, and it generally clears up relatively quickly.
Versus a bad reaction.
Right. An allergic or irritant reaction looks like red, Itchy clusters, often in places you don't usually break out, that means stop immediately. A purge means push through, it's actually working.
But if you're using 10 products.
Exactly. Without the extreme simplicity of the protocol, you can't tell the difference between a purge and a reaction.
So if we actually stick to this boring middle, what does success look like? Because I think our cultural definition of results has been totally warped by TikTok filters and Photoshop. The source has this great section on reframing results.
We really have to actively dismantle the idea of glass skin. Glass skin is usually just great lighting, heavy silicone primers, or digital editing, or honestly, sweat.
Or sweat. That's so true.
Yeah, it is. Perfect skin is just not a scientifically realistic goal. Even 20-year-old models have visible pores and texture when they aren't blasting under studio lights. The goal, according to the source, and I completely agree with it, is simply healthy skin.
What's the defining difference there?
Healthy skin might still have a random pimple every now and then. It has visible pores, but the barrier is completely intact. It's deeply hydrated, it's not red, and it's not chronically inflamed. The specific, realistic metrics the source suggests tracking are fewer breakouts overall, less daily irritation, and a generally more even texture.
Those are real, tangible things. You can actually measure those.
They are, but they aren't dramatic overnight transformations. You might not look like a completely different human being, but your skin will feel so much better and function so much better. And realistically, that is a massive win.
I love that. Real results, not miracle results.
Oh, yeah.
Now, we have to talk about the missing half of the equation here. We spent all this time talking about what we physically put on our face, but the source argues heavily that lifestyle factors are just as important.
Listen, if you are spending $200 on a fancy serum, but you are sleeping 4 hours a night, you might as well just flush your money down the toilet. It's really that simple.
The source lists a few key factors. Sleep is obviously number one, and I know everyone always says, oh, get more sleep. But why specifically for skin?
It all comes down to cortisol. Cortisol is your primary stress hormone. When you are chronically sleep deprived, your cortisol levels spike dramatically. Cortisol essentially binds directly to your sebaceous glands and just screams at them to produce more oil.
Wow.
It also wildly increases systemic inflammation throughout your whole body.
So getting 5 hours of sleep is effectively telling your own body to manufacture acne.
You are chemically instructing your skin to break out. You can apply all the salicylic acid in the world, but you are fighting a hormonal tidal wave that you created simply by not sleeping.
That is terrifying. Hydration and stress management were on that list too. And diet, specifically sugar.
Absolutely. High sugar intake triggers immediate insulin spikes. Insulin is very similar to cortisol in that it triggers excess oil production, but it does something else too. It causes a process called glycation.
Glycation, what is that?
This is where sugar molecules literally bind to your collagen fibers and make them stiff and brittle, and that directly leads to premature aging and sagging.
So the glazed donut is literally fighting my expensive collagen serum in a death match.
Sadly, yes, and the donut usually wins.
Okay, there was one specific tip in the lifestyle section that I felt was a bit of a personal call out for me. Pillowcase hygiene.
Oh, the pillowcase. Everyone forgets this. Think about it realistically. You wash your face, you do your beautiful minimalist routine, and then you lay your perfectly clean face onto a piece of fabric that has been collecting dust, hair oil, dead skin cells, and drool for 2 solid weeks.
Ew. When you put it exactly like that, it's a literal Petri dish.
It really is a petri dish. If you are even slightly acne prone, changing your pillowcase every 2 or 3 days is probably going to be more effective than buying a brand new spot treatment.
That is such a ridiculously practical, low-cost tip.
It costs absolutely nothing, assuming you have a washing machine, but it makes a huge, measurable difference.
It really just highlights the main message here. If you optimize your product routine perfectly, but you completely ignore your lifestyle, you're missing half the entire equation. You're fighting a losing battle.
It's a holistic system. Your skin is an outward reflection of your overall internal health, not just a blank canvas for expensive products.
So let's bring this all together for everyone. We've covered a lot of ground. The industry is fundamentally designed to confuse you into buying more. Your genetics are your genetics. You can't fight them. And the ultimate answer to your skin woes is very likely doing much less, not more.
We really need to embrace the boring, the mundane consistency, the strict 8-week timeline, and the OR picking just one active and stubbornly sticking to it.
And respecting the biology instead of fighting it. I feel like this whole deep dive is really just about regaining control. Instead of being a passive victim of the marketing machine, you become an active scientist of your own skin.
That's a really beautiful way to put it. Be the scientist, observe the data, track it, and above all, be incredibly patient.
Speaking of tracking, the source actually mentions a cool tool to help with this because they suggest stopping the guessing game and starting to track your progress with actual data. They mentioned the Skin Bliss app as a tool to help build and manage these minimalist routines.
Which totally makes sense. If you're trying to strictly follow a protocol like this, having a central place to log, okay, day 1, day 2, how does my skin actually feel? That is invaluable data.
Because let's face it, our memories are terrible.
They are so flawed, it totally prevents you from gaslighting yourself into thinking it's been 6 weeks of waiting when it's actually only been 6 days.
Knock on that.
We all have. Or forgetting that you ate a bunch of sugar 3 days ago, which is actually why you're breaking out today, not because the new moisturizer is bad.
Right, it connects those dots for you. Okay, so here is the final provocative thought I want to leave everyone with today.
Yeah.
We live in a culture that constantly tells us we aren't enough, and that the solution to not being enough is always just one more purchase away. But the source material suggests something kind of radical.
It raises a really important philosophical question. If a multi-billion-dollar industry directly profits from your ongoing confusion and insecurity, maybe the most rebellious thing you can do, the most genuinely punk rock thing you can do for your skin is to simply do less.
I love that so much. Rebellion through moisturizer.
Rebellion through absolute simplicity. Trust your skin. It knows exactly what to do if you just get out of its way.
Well, thank you for breaking this all down with me. This was arguably the most soothing, relieving skincare advice I've ever heard.
It was my absolute pleasure. Here's to doing less.
And to everyone listening, good luck with your own reset.
Yeah.
Let us know how the boring middle actually goes for you. We'll see you on the next deep dive.
That's it for today. If you want to check your own routine for ingredient clashes, build a personalized plan, or track your skin's progress, download Skin Bliss at skinbliss.app. See you next time.